Have you ever noticed that the person who speaks to you the harshest isn't your boss, your family, or even a stranger? It's you. That voice inside your head seems to have an opinion about everything you do. It points out every mistake, questions every decision, and somehow always finds a reason why you're not good enough. The strange part is that even when life is going well, that voice rarely disappears. Why is that? And more importantly, why does it feel so convincing? Most people assume that their inner critic is simply part of their personality. They think they were born this way, or that being hard on themselves is what keeps them motivated. But the truth is much more interesting. Your inner critic isn't trying to ruin your life. In a strange and outdated way, it's actually trying to protect you. The problem is that it's using methods that may have worked thousands of years ago but are incredibly damaging in today's world. Imagine you're walking through a forest thousands of years ago. Your survival depends on noticing danger before it notices you. If you ignore warning signs, you don't just have a bad day, you might not survive. The human brain evolved to scan constantly for threats. It became exceptionally skilled at spotting problems instead of appreciating what was already safe. That ancient survival system is still operating today. Except now, instead of watching for predators hiding behind trees, your brain scans for social rejection, failure, embarrassment, criticism, and anything that might threaten your sense of belonging. This explains something fascinating. Your brain naturally pays more attention to negative experiences than positive ones. You could receive 10 compliments and 1 criticism, and chances are you'll replay the criticism all day. That's not because you're weak. It's because your brain believes negative information is more important for survival. Now add childhood into the picture. Think back to when you were young. Every child depends completely on adults for safety, love, and acceptance. Because of that, children become experts at reading reactions. If praise came only after perfect grades, you might have learned that mistakes are dangerous. If affection disappeared when you disappointed someone, you might have concluded that being imperfect means being unworthy. Children don't usually question these experiences. They absorb them. Over time, the voices around them slowly become the voice inside them. A teacher who repeatedly said, "You can do better." A parent who compared you to your siblings. A coach who believed criticism created stronger athletes. A classmate who laughed when you made a mistake. Years later, those people may be completely absent from your life. Yet their words continue speaking through your own thoughts. The most surprising part is that your inner critic often doesn't sound cruel at first. It sounds responsible. It says, "Don't get too excited. You'll probably fail." It whispers, "Work harder. You're falling behind." It reminds you, "Don't embarrass yourself." Because it disguises itself as wisdom, many people never question it. They mistake anxiety for preparation. They confuse self-criticism with discipline. But here's something worth thinking about. If harsh criticism truly produced excellence, then everyone who constantly insults themselves would be incredibly successful and deeply fulfilled. Yet we see the opposite all the time. Some of the highest achievers secretly feel like frauds. Some perfectionists never enjoy their accomplishments. Some incredibly talented people hesitate to even begin because they fear not meeting impossible standards. Their inner critic never lets them arrive. Every success immediately becomes the new minimum expectation. You finish one project. The critic says, "Anyone could have done that." You get promoted. It says, "You just got lucky." Someone compliments your work. It answers, "If they knew the real you, they wouldn't say that." Notice something interesting. The goalposts constantly move. Nothing is ever enough because the critic isn't actually searching for satisfaction. It's searching for certainty, and certainty doesn't exist. There's another psychological twist that most people don't realize. Your inner critic often grows louder precisely because you care. If you deeply value being a good parent, you'll criticize yourself every time you lose patience. If relationships matter to you, you'll replay conversations wondering whether you said the wrong thing. If your career is important, every small mistake can feel enormous. The critic attacks the areas that matter most because that's where you feel most vulnerable. Ironically, the louder it becomes, the more you believe something must actually be wrong. This creates a dangerous cycle. You criticize yourself. You feel anxious. The anxiety seems like proof that the criticism is accurate. So you criticize yourself even more. Round and round it goes. Here's another reason that voice refuses to stay quiet. The human brain loves prediction. Predicting danger gives the illusion of control. Suppose you're about to give an important presentation. Your inner critic starts imagining everything that could go wrong. You'll forget your words. They'll think you're incompetent. You'll embarrass yourself. Strangely, your brain believes that worrying now might somehow prevent pain later. It treats self-criticism like emotional insurance. But that's an illusion. Research has repeatedly shown that excessive self-criticism doesn't improve performance. Instead, it increases stress, reduces confidence, and makes clear thinking more difficult. Think about professional athletes. The best performers don't usually spend every second mentally attacking themselves during competition. They correct mistakes. They adjust. Then they move forward. Imagine a tennis player who loses 1 point and spends the next 5 minutes thinking, "I'm terrible. Everyone's watching me. I always choke." They're no longer playing the match. They're fighting themselves. The same thing happens in everyday life. You send an email. Hours later you're wondering if one sentence sounded strange. You meet someone new. That evening you're replaying every word you said. You make a small mistake at work. Your mind treats it as evidence that you're fundamentally incompetent. Meanwhile, everyone else has already moved on. One of the biggest myths about confidence is that confident people don't have an inner critic. They absolutely do. The difference is that they don't automatically believe everything it says. Imagine your mind as a room full of advisors. One advisor constantly predicts disaster. Another reminds you of your strengths. Another encourages curiosity. Another focuses on learning. Your inner critic is just one advisor. The problem begins when you accidentally promote it to CEO. Then every decision passes through fear first. One simple question can completely interrupt this pattern. Instead of asking, "Is my inner critic correct?" ask, "Would I say this to someone I truly love?" Imagine your closest friend telling you they made one mistake during an important meeting. Would you tell them they're a failure? Would you say they'll never succeed? Would you remind them of every mistake they've ever made? Probably not. You'd offer perspective. You'd remind them that everyone makes mistakes. You'd encourage them to keep going. Yet somehow you deserve less compassion than a stranger. Why? Some people fear that becoming kinder to themselves will make them lazy. But kindness isn't the same as lowering standards. Imagine learning to ride a bicycle. Which coach would help you improve faster? One who screams every time you wobble? Or one who calmly points out what to adjust while encouraging you to keep practicing? The answer seems obvious when it's someone else. But when it's ourselves, we often believe abuse equals motivation. It doesn't. Growth happens best in environments where mistakes are treated as information rather than evidence of personal failure. Here's another small revelation. Your inner critic often speaks in absolutes. You always fail. You never finish. Everyone thinks you're awkward. Notice the words. Always. Never. Everyone. These are emotional exaggerations, not objective facts. The mind loves simple stories because they require less effort than balanced thinking. Reality is usually much more complicated. You have succeeded. You have learned difficult skills. You have overcome problems you once believed were impossible. Your brain simply doesn't replay those memories as often because survival systems prioritize threats over victories. This is why intentionally remembering past successes isn't arrogance. It's correcting a built-in imbalance. Something else happens as people get older. Many assume the inner critic eventually disappears with experience. It usually doesn't. It simply changes subjects. In your 20s it may criticize your potential. In your 30s your career. Later your appearance. Your parenting. Your health. Your aging. Its favorite topic is whatever currently feels uncertain. That's why waiting for complete confidence rarely works. Confidence isn't the absence of self-doubt. It's continuing despite hearing it. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding about the inner critic is believing that silence is the goal. Your mind will probably continue generating critical thoughts from time to time for the rest of your life. Thoughts appear automatically. Belief is optional. Imagine standing beside a busy highway. Cars keep passing. You don't chase every vehicle. You simply watch them come and go. Your thoughts can be treated the same way. Not every thought deserves your trust simply because it appeared. One harsh sentence in your mind doesn't become reality. It's just mental activity. The more you practice noticing rather than obeying your inner critic, the weaker its influence gradually becomes. Not because it disappears completely, but because you've stopped giving it absolute authority. And maybe that's the most freeing realization of all. You are not the voice that constantly judges you. You are the person listening. The voice is only one small part of your mind. It is not your identity. It is not your destiny. It is certainly not the final authority on what you're capable of becoming. The next time that familiar voice tells you you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not attractive enough, not successful enough, or simply not enough, pause for just a moment. Ask yourself whose voice you're really hearing. Ask whether it's describing reality or simply repeating an old survival strategy that no longer serves you. Because every time you question your inner critic instead of automatically believing it, you're quietly rewriting the story you've been telling yourself for years. And over time, those tiny moments of awareness become something extraordinary. They become freedom. If this helped you understand your mind better, subscribe for more videos like this.